Why are you so sad? All my friends speak very good English. My English is always bad. What do you mean? They use nice words. My word choice is very, bad. Let's see. How's the weather today? It's bad. What do you think about Marvel movies? Oh, they were good until Endgame. Now they are, bad. How about Chelsea, the football team? What? I'm a Manchester United fan. Of course Chelsea is bad. Bad? Oh, I say bad a lot. Exactly. You need to learn some synonyms for some overused English words. Really? Like what? Good question. Let me show you. In this lesson, we're going to learn some synonyms for some overused English words. Now, before we start, let me tell you something. When we say overused words, it's not necessarily something bad. It's okay to use these words, but if you want to improve your English, if you want to sound a bit more sophisticated, or if you want to add a little variety to the way you speak, it's a very good idea to use some synonyms. So let's get started with word number 1, and that is good. Now, you obviously know the meaning of good. This book is good, or it was a good movie. Now, instead of good, what other words can we use? If something is better than good, you can say it's great. Great! The movie was great. If something is enjoyable, you can say it's pleasant. Pleasant. The weather today is very pleasant. Or if something is even better than great, you can say it's superb. Superb. He is a superb dancer. You see, a lot of these synonyms are also very simple, and perhaps you knew the meaning of all of these words. But the thing is, if you want to be able to use them as you are speaking, you have to turn these words from passive to active in your head. Turning passive vocabulary into active will enable you to use your knowledge, to use the number of words you know, when you are speaking or when you are writing. That is, when you are producing something in English. But do you know how to turn passive vocabulary into active vocabulary? No? Don't worry. I wanted to tell you another thing. Look at these sentences. He's a good guy. Instead of good, I can say great. He's a great guy. I can say pleasant. He's a pleasant guy. And I can say superb. He's a superb guy. But now, out of these 4 sentences, which one do you think is the most common? He's a good guy, or he's a nice guy. Saying that he's a superb guy is kind of not natural. Well, you can say he's a superb dancer or a superb musician when talking about somebody's skills. But if you say somebody's superb, it's okay, it makes sense, and people will probably understand you. But the thing is, it's not really natural. It's more natural to say that he's good, or he's nice, or he's a superb dancer, a superb musician, or a superb teacher. So what am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that you cannot simply substitute a word with its synonyms. You need to be aware of the context of that sentence, okay? For example, you can say the show was good. You can say the show was great. You can say the show was superb. And you can also say the show was pleasant. All of them make perfect sense. So please, as you learn synonyms, also pay attention to the context of the sentence. We will talk about this more in the rest of the video. Now, let's get to the second word, which is bad. Now, you know the meaning of bad, right? And you probably know the words that I'm going to tell you later on. But let's discuss them. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. Instead of bad, what else can I say? If it was very bad, I can say that was an awful joke. Or the weather today is just awful. If it's very, very bad, you can say it's terrible. The weather today is just terrible. Or that was a terrible mistake. Or if it was very, very, very bad, you can say that was horrible. Horrible. It was a horrible experience. Bad, awful, terrible, horrible. You see, you are diversifying your knowledge of vocabulary, and that is very good. Now try to practice so that you can use them as you are writing and speaking. Let's move on to the next word. Very. Well, very is very overused. You see, I said it's very overused. But instead of very, what can I say? Well, very is an adverb. It is used to add emphasis to another adverb or an adjective. For example, smart, very smart. He is very smart. Instead of very, what else can you say? If it's very, very, you can say extremely. For example, she's extremely talented. She is extremely talented. You can also say incredibly. He is incredibly talented. Or he is incredibly dedicated. Or you can say remarkably. The view was remarkably beautiful. So very, extremely, incredibly, remarkably. But again, pay attention to the context of what you are trying to say. Don't simply substitute these words for one another. Number 4 is interesting. This video is very interesting, right? Instead of interesting, what else can you say? Fascinating, which means very interesting. In my opinion, space exploration is fascinating. Understanding that there may be another planet where other creatures are living, that's fascinating. If something attracts and holds your interest, that is captivating. It's like a book or a movie that you can't stop watching or reading because it's so captivating. The book was captivating. I couldn't stop reading it. Or if it's charming and attractive, you can say it's engaging. Yesterday's lecture was engaging. Interesting, fascinating, captivating, engaging. Moving on to number 5. Nice. She has a nice smile. Instead of nice, what else can you say? Lovely. It's a lovely day. Or, this is a lovely studio flat. You can say charming, which means pleasantly attractive. He has a charming personality. Or you can say delightful, something that causes delight or joy or happiness. The play was delightful. Nice, lovely, charming, delightful. Okay, now before we continue this lesson, let's have a look at this paragraph that I have provided for you. Let's read it together. Last weekend, I watched a movie. It was very interesting. The actors were very good, but the plot was a bit bad. The soundtrack, however, was very nice. Overall, it was a good experience. This is a very clear paragraph, right? You immediately understand what this paragraph is talking about. It's very clear, but we can improve this a bit more. For example, instead of very interesting, what else can we say? Instead of very good, or a bit bad, or very nice. We can use some of the alternatives that we just learned, right? Let's do that in 3, 2, 1. Now let's read this together. Last weekend, I watched a movie. It was absolutely captivating. The actors were superb, although the plot was somewhat terrible. The soundtrack, on the other hand, was delightful. All in all, it was a great experience. You see, I'm basically using some synonyms for the words interesting, nice, good, and bad. And in this way, as you can see, the second paragraph now sounds a bit better, right? Great! Now, let's move on with the rest of this lesson. Next word we're going to talk about is happy. I feel happy today. But instead of happy, what else can we say? You can say joyful. Joyful. The news made her joyful. It made her happy. It made her joyful. You can also say elated. Elated, which means extremely happy. For example, he was elated by the success. He was elated by the success. Also pay attention to its preposition. Elated by or elated at something. Or you can say ecstatic. Ecstatic, which means very, very, very happy. She was ecstatic about her new job. So happy, elated, joyful, and ecstatic. Next word is sad. I feel sad today. Instead of sad, you can say upset. Upset. She was upset about the news. She was upset about the news. Or you can say gloomy. Gloomy means very sad and without any hope. He felt gloomy all day. He felt gloomy. Why am I living? Or you can say heartbroken. Heartbroken. She was heartbroken by the news. She was heartbroken by the news. So sad, upset, gloomy, heartbroken. Next word is big. Big. It's a big house. Well, it's not, but let's say it is. Now, instead of big, you can say huge, which means very big. They live in a huge mansion. They live in a huge mansion. You can say massive. Whoa, that's a massive building. Or gigantic. Gigantic. They saw a gigantic ship at the harbor. Big,
Huge, massive, gigantic.
Now, the opposite of big is small. For example, I live in a small studio flat. But instead of small, what else can you say? You can say tiny, which is very small. She had a tiny ring. If you were talking about a person, specifically a woman, who is thin and small, you can say she is petite. Petite. Now pay attention, this is only used to describe a woman's body, and it means thin and attractive. She has a petite figure. You can also use the word compact. For example, he drives a compact car, perfect for the city. So small, tiny, petite, and compact. Now pay attention. Again, context matters. You can say this is a small studio flat. You may even be able to say that it's a tiny studio flat. Well, it's not tiny, but if it is very small, you can say it's tiny. But can you say that this flat is petite? No, because as I said, petite is used for women. Now, for a car, you can say small, right? A small car. You can say compact, a compact car. But can you say a tiny car? Well, if you have a tiny toy, yeah, you may be able to say it's a tiny car. But a real car can never be tiny. But it can be compact. It can be small. Can it be petite? No, because petite is used for human body. So again, don't simply use a word instead of another word, even though they are synonyms. Always pay attention to the context. And the last word we're going to talk about today is like. But not, I like ice cream. No. This like is the like that people often use as a filler word. This happens a lot in everyday conversation. For example, I was like very tired, but the movie was like very long. But my friend was very sad. This like is used as a filler word to buy you some time to think about what you want to say, or to search for the word, or to search for the grammar. Now, instead of like as a filler word, what else can you say? Well, you can basically say, the movie was a bit long and people were tired. But again, this doesn't sound very good, does it? Do you know the best alternative? Just say nothing. The movie was long and my friend was not very happy. Don't say anything, just remain silent. But you know what I often do? I say, for example, the movie was, very long. And my friend was, a bit sad. There are many different filler words that people often use when they're having a conversation. But I think the best one is just to remain silent. My friend was sad. And now, before we end this lesson, let's see a dialogue. What a gloomy day. Yeah, the weather is just awful today. I hate this tiny room. It makes me upset. I wish I could buy a huge mansion. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, click subscribe. See ya.